Where is Canton in the next 5 years?
Canton, I think, is going to be a top 3 asset.
Top 3, yeah?
Top 3, it might even be top 2. It might even be number 1.
You saw Canton very early and you understood what it would take to make this stuff happen, and you took the bet.
Lucky and blessed to have had my ups and downs in the ecosystem and then been at so many different positions to have the vantage point I do. We can basically vamp Web3 into coming into Canton.
We spoke now a lot about DA, DAML. So what you guys are doing is you're bringing EVM to it. Like, why is this needed if DA was speaking with all these institutions for the past 10 years, teaching them DAML, right, doing pilots? Like, who is going to use Zenith? For who are you building this?
So yeah, it's a great question, because DAML has done such a good and successful job at building everything that they have and that, you know, entire empire there. However, again, Web3 existed for a decade outside of this sector, had no even optics or idea perspective of what was going on within the DLT realm. DA owns that realm. That is like their entire, you know, you can't get better than digital asset in that sector. However, Web3 had no idea. And when you go tell them, hey, we've got a new smart contract language, you want to come interact with our network? Go learn DAML. It's written in Haskell. And then you talk to a Web3 developer and they're bashing their head into the wall. Like, oh my God, what is this? You saw the iterative implementations of new smart contract languages like Move, you know, championed by multiple L1s, Sui, Aptos, two of the biggest and most idolized projects of that era as well. And Move was supposed to be this, you know, grandiose thing. Thank you, Facebook and Libra, and like, you know, for bringing this to the table. It's going to make smart contract development, you know, a breeze, and we're going to have millions of smart contract developers. And what ended up happening? No, Sui and Aptos both several $100 million in funding from both those teams, because people thought that the tech is where people were going to flow to. But again, they've proven my thesis that the tech is useful and it is a conduit to getting to business adoption, but you don't just build things that people have not asked for. You build based on customer demand and a PMF. But if you just build based on a narrative, it always falls apart in the end. And so unfortunately for Move and in both of those ecosystems and whatever other ecosystems we're trying Move, or even like Fuel VM, for instance, and these kind of things, it just becomes a more difficult onboarding experience, more friction than necessary. And so our position at Zenith when we read that Polyglot paper was, if we can pull this off, we can basically vamp Web3 into coming into Canton. So what does it do? It allows institutions that are on Canton to now interface with an environment that's fully atomically composable. You can think of it like EVM subnets. They're their own global synchronizer connected subnets. We are just EVM subnets that are also connected into the same global synchronizer. We're in the same mainnet activation. So for them, they have a decreased risk because they're not externalizing and going to a different environment, a different L1. They're not using bridging technology. Like
there is no bridge. I wanted to ask that. Like, how do people get money from Canton to Zenith?
So there is a bridge, and there's a important design differentiation and what the semantics of this are. So Layer 0, CCIP, Axelar, Wormhole, these are all economically incentivized bridges and structural designs. Ours is protocol level. So the difference is that in a protocol level design, we rely on the consensus of Canton itself and the state of Canton. And in a single transaction and leg of atomicity, we have both the EVM logic and the DAML logic in a single transaction. It's fully deterministic, right? So it means that nothing can happen that's not fully approved by Canton consensus. So Zenith environment exists as if it were on Canton mainnet in the way that it's architected. And this is co-architected with Bernard Elsner, the CPO, and the guy who also co-wrote the Polyglot paper, and a lot of guidance and structural advice from Shaul Kfir, the co-founder and formerly CTO. Now he's CEO or something around those lines. But they've basically, originally it looked like an L2 architecture.
Yeah, that's
it
how I
looked
first
like a
learned
rollup.
about it. That's how I first understood it, or tried. I always try to make an analogy, right? Explain
Right.
for myself. Like, okay, Zenith is the EVM L2 of Canton.
Yes, but unfortunately, and it's going to be a long road ahead of education of unwinding that, that perspective that an external environment is a L2 or a rollup. But if you look at it with basically Ethereum Economic Zones was a published paper by Jordy from Polygon, CTO, and then the Gnosis guys. And basically they're saying that they want to create a Zenith for Ethereum, which is an economic zone where all L2s can plug into that have full liquidity, atomicity, and they will build the atomic protocol level design for interaction with Ethereum, Ethereum's consensus. So all L2s plug into the EEZ, and then now you're atomically composable in the same fashion. That it's basically like a copy paste of what we did. If you go read their blog post and go read our CIP 0091 that was published in July of 2025, it's like almost the same wording for everything. So good luck for them, but I don't believe that ecosystem, is the right ecosystem to build that towards. For us, we think that now the goal is universal application composability. It's not interoperability in the sense that you're migrating assets to new chains. So let's take the example of Sui and Aptos again. You're looking at them, they've got their own smart contract language, that's its own friction. You've got a burgeoning ecosystem, hundreds of millions of dollars, they've got multi-billion-dollar FTVs. Why can't they create a Hyperliquid? Like, why didn't a Hyperliquid come out of that? Why didn't a Uniswap come out of that? The luck, the sheer luck in developer resources and amount of failures that Ethereum has had is the reason that it's successful. Everyone consolidated and attempted things on Ethereum over a decade. Aptos Sui doesn't have that, and you look at these general purpose blockchains and you think they've got a short window of captivating audiences and the developer community. If they lose that, it's gone. And so the same instance happens when you start a network like Canton and it starts to position towards Web3 side of things. How are those, you're not going to build a Hyperliquid out of a hackathon. It's not going to come out of some small incubator accelerator program hosted by
Takes a lot,
ABC VC. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of iterations. It's a lot of luck. So our thesis is that the best way to bootstrap and kick off any new ecosystem is to migrate mature, robust, stress-tested infrastructure from other ecosystems. And how can we reduce the friction as much as possible for them to copy-paste their code and bring their distribution, bring their clients and customers and total users into a new ecosystem without creating any hassle or any barriers to entry, and almost be entirely abstracted away from the entire conversation, but now they have connectivity into a new network. That first network that Zenith built for is Canton. And so how can you create universal application composability for all of the various DeFi protocols that exist in Ethereum, all of the various DeFi and exchange and trading infrastructure that exists in Solana. And now you can offer to institutions the ability to access those things without leaving Canton. So you don't have value leakage, first of all. That's a main thing for Canton. We also have all of our transaction fees priced and denominated in Canton in the underlying. So we have a PSP swap that will do Zenith. If you obviously pay gas in Zenith, but that is underlying converting to CC and paying CC on the back end. So CC is always burned in the same way that it would be on Canton mainnet.
So basically, will Zenith still have the same, like one of the major advantages that Canton has is the privacy aspect, right? Will transactions still be private on Zenith?
That's a great question, and we just got asked this by Yuval last week. And EVM is inherently open, public, permissionless. And it's notoriously difficult to make that private.
Exactly.
Which is Ethereum's whole, problem statement right now. That's why Kohaku has come out, and we named those 3 protocols, privacy pools, Railgun, Tornado Cash, supporting that on the EVM. And so the best that we can offer in Zenith EVM, because it is inherently Ethereum on Canton, is to mimic what Ethereum is doing. So we can invite privacy pools and Tornado Cash and Railgun. I've known the Railgun team a long time and have been an early supporter. So like bringing them into the ecosystem is hopefully something we can do to provide privacy in the open public permissionless setting. However, that's one key point. But I want to bring out that Zenith is a stack, right? Just like OP Stack, for instance, right? You can use the Zenith technology to spin out other EVMs and other SVMs and other Move VMs or whatever VM we want. Actually, it can, we just build a multi-VM solution. It's just based on demand. But so what does that mean? If I'm an institution or if I'm okay, this is the funniest thing. We have other L1s who want to build out Zenith virtual blockchains of their own to have a subnet on Canton with its own thesis. There's one that's doing specifically DPIN, a DPIN L1 that wants its own Zenith virtual blockchain to have connectivity in the Canton.
To have their own VM on Canton.
And have migration of all their assets and apps so they can earn rewards via Canton's app reward structure. We have RWA L1 that's doing it. We have L1 that is very well known and still huge, one of the biggest, who wants to have their own Zenith virtual blockchain for connectivity of payments, specifically in Canton Network.
So you're basically opening the doors to the whole Web3 community to come and be on Canton. Everyone who was not in these 10-year pilots and who wasn't invited to these 100,000 coffees, right? Those guys that have been building magic internet money on chain, be it Ethereum, Solana, or whatever other VM, you're opening the doors for them and inviting them to come on Canton. Yeah,
and the privacy point is a good thing to bring up within regards to the Web3 community too, because their protocols are not designed with privacy mechanics and counterparty obfuscation. It doesn't work. So they have to not only rewrite the code in DAML, migrating from Solidity to Rust, but also re-architect the solution to understand how do you have interaction between parties, how do you have CLOBs and order books and visual representations of movement of assets. And, there's all kinds of things. I had to wrap my head around so many new concepts. I had this feeling that everything I ever learned about crypto and blockchain and how to design protocols, I had to forget everything when learning about Canton. It's an entirely different paradigm.
Completely different.
Totally different. And so for Web3, it's very difficult to... Everyone was immediately like, oh, we see the big FIs, we want to go there. Which is inbound for us. We're a 13-person team. For the first 2 years, I'm the only guy running external BD. And now I finally hired my good friend, Gustav Arentoft. He used to be former head of ecosystem at MakerDAO. And he's crushing it. So happy to have him on board. But the broader Web3 ecosystem, they all have the same problems. Literally everybody. It's rewriting in DAML. It's the the re-architecture of trying to abide by DAML's privacy guarantees. And when you look at this, it's not just Web3. It's also institutions. So the Web3 phase is our first go-to-market. The low-hanging fruit for us is crypto. The phase 2 starts to move into institutions who have dependencies on EVM. The last decade, large asset managers and asset issuers have made massive investments across the space, all EVM-centric dependencies.
But then why don't they just stay on Ethereum?
Because Canton is the global synchronizer to connect over 150 financial institutions, global stock exchanges, multiple clearing houses of different countries involved.
So you're saying they can just move their infrastructure that they have been building over the past whatever many years onto Zenith and be able to tap into this network?
without changing any code on top of it.
Without
the least friction as possible, abstracting Zenith. You are now, let's give just a hypothetical example. You're Aave, you have a drop-down menu. It says Arbitrum, Optimism, Plasma,
Canton.
Zenith. We wanted to name it Canton EVM, but there's trademarking restrictions against that. Yeah.
I thought
we were just going to be Zenith the project and then Canton EVM and let it go from there.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, we had it that way in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is how I would prefer it. Actually, I would like it to be seen that we are natively just Canton. I don't want to be seen as another company. I've committed enough of my time to feel like I'm fully working at Digital Asset and Canton Foundation. So same with all of our team. We are all part of the governing committees. Yeah. Everybody has a role.
Yeah.
We're involved in all of the CIP discussions.
Yeah.
We're on the ecosystem fund and everything. So it is our home. It's our ecosystem. And going back to why it makes it easy for everyone. It's just we saw our own pain point and we knew it would be the pain point from everyone else. So we solved for that and now it's proving to be true. So Web3 is go-to-market phase 1. Phase 2 is institutions with EVM dependencies. And all the tokenization providers are all on EVM.
So many, all of them.
Securitized, Tokeny, Control Alt,
Franklin Templeton, BlackRock.
CMT8, all of these are Ethereum standards. Phase 3, though, is also Hyperledger Besu. It's EVM stack of institutions. They want global composability. They want to wrap back into Canton, but how are they going to? They don't want to rewrite everything.
Yeah.
So we've got multiple legs of PMF that fit across the board where it's Ethereum native. Ethereum is potentially going to be the be all end all, but what you're not going to bet. You're not going to put all your eggs in one basket. So. They know Canton is a strong runner-up. Yeah. We already talked about the other runner-up. They have they're in like a totally, it's like, professional leagues and like kids
amateur.
Sports. Yeah, amateur total. Even though they're great companies too.
Sure.
They're doing real things, but it's just it's on a different spectrum.
Mega interesting. And it's super interesting to hear these insights from someone who's been, I think what makes you special here for Canton is that you've been involved with Polymesh already so long ago, right? You've been thinking about how could we bring traditional finance on chain? How can we tokenize things? How can this stuff actually make sense, right? And you saw this opportunity. You saw Canton very early and you understood what it would take theoretically to make this stuff happen, and you took the bet.
I feel lucky and blessed to have had my ups and downs in the ecosystem and then been at so many different positions to have the vantage point I do. Yeah. Because it led us to build Zenith and be in this position.
Super cool.
Yeah, we're doing exactly what I hoped I was doing 10 years ago now.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes time, right?
It takes time, but that learning curve was important.
Very important. So my final question would be like, where is Canton, where is Zenith in the next 5 years?
Canton, I think, is going to be a top 3 asset.
Top 3, yeah?
Top 3, it might even be top 2. It might even be number 1.
Number 1?
I could see it passing Bitcoin, potentially.
No way, really?
Yeah. People will think that's full-on maxi crazy talk, but let's see.
Gives the vibes off a little bit.
Let's see when DTC is fully in production.
Yeah.
Global stock exchanges have migrated on chain.
Yeah.
Tokenized equities are not just SPV model, but coming directly out of NASDAQ.
Yeah.
NASDAQ invested into Canton, into digital asset.
Yeah.
S&P Global invested into digital asset.
Yeah.
DTCC invested in the digital asset, along with 100 plus other banks and FIs. The scale at which their participation in the global synchronizer is going to become cataclysmic, it's going to be massive. Yeah. It's beyond the scope, I think, that most people can fathom. It's like AI level proliferation, exponential growth.
Interesting.
That's where I think Canton will be. And it will be the dominant FI infrastructure for many decades, I think. It will be almost impossible to displace them because of the buy-in that they have from every
It's a network effect, right?
It's a network effect, and they've done the most phenomenal job possible with that. Zenith, we will always live in Canton's shadow, and as a beta to Canton, and what we provide, essentially the TAM of Zenith is the TAM of Solana plus Ethereum.
And you're bringing that to Canton.
And we're bringing that to Canton.
Super nice.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice way to end this discussion.
It's been good.
It's been really good.
Yeah.
I'm super thankful to having you here, having you met here in Paris.
I haven't done a more casual podcast in a while. It's been years, so it's nice to just get out of like pitching and.
No, like I'm just. I was genuinely more interested in just learning about you, right, and hearing your journey, because I heard a lot about you. I've been checking out your LinkedIn before this podcast. I was like, this guy has been around.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff there, right?
Yeah.
So I want to unpack. I want to learn, and I feel like I know a lot more about you. I know a lot more about Zenith for sure, and I also know a lot more about Canton now. And I hope that you guys also enjoyed it and were able to learn. So yeah, thank you so much, and see you in the next one.
Appreciate it, guys. If you made it this far. Heslin Kim on Twitter, Heslin Kim on LinkedIn, and go follow Zenith FDN on Twitter.
We're gonna link you anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Cheers.